Good morning, everyone. I wasn't planning on recording a reflection today, but I have been sitting here thinking about a couple things, and so I thought I would share them with you this morning. I hope that you can forgive my slightly unpolished delivery and kind of stream of consciousness rambling here a little bit. I've been sitting here. This morning I read the psalm for the daily lectionary for today, the Thursday before Pentecost, and it comes from Psalm 33. And I'm specifically looking at verses 13 through 15. The Lord looks down from heaven. He sees all humankind. From where he sits enthroned, he watches all the inhabitants of the earth. He who fashions the hearts of them all and observes all their deeds. And I'm sitting here reading this, and I've got the piano tuner in my living room working on my piano. I'm sure that you can hear him working in the background. And it has occurred to me that this passage is a good argument for what is called the analogy of the watchmaker. Philosophers, especially in the age of enlightenment, wanted to consider that we want to find reason. We want to have a scientific proof, perhaps a scientific theory that we can support for the existence of God. And so some thinkers, some philosophers decided to kind of look in the direction of observing creation, and they thought, well, there is such an order to the world. There is such a design. There are natural laws that must be followed. And so the fact that there is intelligence in the design of our universe means that there must be an intelligent designer. And so there's this understanding that there is a God, but that this God placed everything in its order, created these natural laws, and now is hands off, is just observing from afar how the watch works. So it's this watchmaker. The watchmaker places all the gears in the right places and makes sure that everything is fine-tuned and oiled well, and then closes it up and walks away, and the watch is completed. But I don't think that is a Christian idea of who God is. We've got this small verse from Psalm 33 that seems to maybe support that a little bit, that God looks down from heaven and sees us, sits enthroned and watches us. But I don't think that's who God is. I think we have to look a little bit further. It says in verse 20, "Our soul waits for the Lord. He is our help and shield. Our heart is glad in him because we trust in his holy name. Let your steadfast love, O Lord, be upon us, even as we hope in you." So I don't think that as Christians we believe in the watchmaker God. I think that, at least today, as I sit here listening to my piano tuner, that we believe in the piano tuner God. That God created us, certainly. God loves us. God poured God's love into us in the creation of us. But that God also loves us enough to continue to be with us, to continue to fine-tune us, to visit many times. The piano tuner told me that in the first year after piano is built, you need to tune it between 3 and 4 times to make sure that the strings are at the right tension and that they have the right amount of flexibility but the right amount of stiffness to last the ages. And if you don't do that, then you have trouble with keeping it in tune for the rest of its life. And I feel like that speaks something about our faith. It tells us that God doesn't just create us and leave us. God creates us, but God stays. God continues to be present with us. God is there to support us through troubling times. God is there to celebrate with us in times of joy and happiness. And God is present not just in a spiritual way, in an empty kind of feelings kind of way that is fleeting, but God is present with the community too. And during this time that we can't necessarily be together in person, I think it's been challenging to remember that and to feel that experience of God's presence because we don't have the human bodies there with us. But I felt it myself many times. I feel it when I get to see the faces of the people that I love on the screen helping me to worship God. I feel it when I get emails from all of you giving comments on your experience of our worship services and of our reflections and of our classes. And I feel that even though it takes more work, it's more of an intentional thing. I think that it's been a positive experience for me, that we don't just have the assumption that we'll see each other on Sunday. And so we must reach out. We must make sure that that community stays strong in the same way that God could sit on his throne in heaven and look down on us. But instead, God intentionally reaches down to us every day, regardless of whether we ask for it or not. God is present with us at all times. And so I would encourage you to feel that presence of God, be that presence of God to someone else today. Thank you for listening to my ramblings today, and I hope that you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.